everyone. Today we're setting up my June budget and I'm going to be going over my monthly overview, the bill breakdown by paycheck, and exactly how I'm planning out my finances this month. If you're new here, my name's Rachel and I'm on a journey to become debt free and financially stable. So, this monthly overview and budget setup covers my two paychecks I'm going to have in June on the 5th. And this month, it's kind of a weird date um, because the 5th and the 20th, the 20th falls on a weekend, and then the 19th is a holiday. So most likely I'll be getting paid on the 18th. So it'll be a little bit weird this month, but I'm going to show you guys how I set up my budget. So I've gone through and I've accounted for all of my bills that I have coming out this month. So in this category, I have all of my fixed expenses, and this includes things like my dental insurance, cell phone, Amazon, internet, electric. I'm doing something a little bit different with my electric bill this month because it is getting into the hot months here in Arizona. I used to keep this in the variable expenses and kind of just go, by each bill month to month. And it would be in the winter months, it's usually between like, I don't know, 70, and it fluctuates up to maybe 90 if there's like a heat spell that comes through. But because it is getting into the hot months, I am going to be budgeting just a flat rate of 150 each month. And then whatever's left over, I'll roll that over to the next month to put towards that bill. I think the highest my bill last year was 190, and that was during the really peak temperatures here in Arizona. So I did move that one into my fixed expenses, and I'll keep an eye on my bill, and if I have to adjust that, I will. But right now we're sticking with 150. It's still been pretty low. I think my bill coming up, let me see. I don't have it anymore. I think it was like $85 or something like that for last month. And then I have my Apple subscriptions, my car insurance, rent, student loans, other subscriptions, and then my Canva. So my fixed expenses equal $2,157. And then for the month, these amounts pretty much stay the same as far as things like grocery spending, dining out. So I'm doing 300 for the month for groceries, 50 both for spending and dining out. Home essentials will get 40, and then drinks, not alcohol, but just regular drinks, sparkling water or soft drinks or anything that's not water. I'm budgeting 80 and then a buffer of 20. And then for my sinking funds this month, I could have put this, I guess, in the savings section, but because I do spend out of these, I know they're kind of like little savings accounts or, categories, but I do spend out of them. So I'm going to put 1,350. This may change depending on, I don't know, if something happens or if I have an unexpected expense, but that's what I'm planning on for the month. And then for savings challenges, I'm planning on putting in 170. And this too, this is not set in stone. This is kind of what I'm budgeting for. It may not be as much or it could be more. It just depends. If I have rollover money in my wallet, this might be a little bit more, but this is what I'm planning on taking out of my paycheck to put into savings challenges. And so that's 170. And then the total for the variable expenses is 1,860. And then total expenses for the month with the fixed bills, the savings, and then the variables is $4,187. So let me get this out of the way. And next, I'm going to go through and just kind of set up the calendar. I haven't done this. Well, I did this last month. I didn't do it on a video, but I did do this last month. And I did like that I could see the flow of like when my bills are coming out as opposed to just a list. I will be going over how I break it down by paycheck after this, but we're gonna set up my just this little calendar here. So, like I mentioned, my paydays this month, they're usually on the 5th and the 20th, but this up here, and then this month it's going to be a little weird, and it's going to be on the 18th, which is okay, but then it's going to be a big gap in between when I get paid again, because then I'll have to wait till the 5th, which is going to be like over 2 weeks, which it's okay. It's just I have to be a little more mindful of how I spend money, like my grocery money and stuff like that. And so those are my two paydays. And then we'll start with my dental bill, which automatically comes out on the 5th. And then I think my next one, my APS, comes out 6th. Put that right here. And then, let's see. I'm going to put my cell phone and Cox, which is my internet, together because these actually are, I switched my plan from Verizon to Cox and it dropped my bill. Oh my gosh, it dropped my bill over $100 by bundling them together. So these two I'm just going to put, I pay them to, they're due on different dates, but I pay them on the same date because they're both through Cox. And then my Prime is going to come out on, all of my bills are kind of like bundled together, like pretty close together in this first paycheck. And then my Apple subscriptions come out on the 12th. And then my car insurance, it's the last one for this paycheck. That one comes out on the 13th. Okay, so that's all going to be from my first paycheck. And then my second paycheck, we will do my rent first. This is due on the 20th. So rent, student loans are due on the 21st, which is also Father's Day. So we will just put that right there. And then let's see, subscriptions. This one comes out on the 25th. And then the last one I have for the month is my Canva subscription. And that one comes out on the 27th. So that's just a brief setup of how I'm gonna kind of going forward. I like to kind of see the flow of what's coming out when instead of just a list, even though I will still be doing the list and we're actually going to go to that next. And I'm going to show you how I kind of break down by paycheck so I can kind of see the total for each paycheck. So let's go to here. So what I have planned for paycheck 1 and paycheck 2. So for my wallet, I'm just going to put it under the actual because this amount does not change. So I do $270 per paycheck for my wallet, and that covers all of the groceries, the spending, the dining out, the home essentials, and things like that, the buffer and the drinks envelope. And then APS, this, like we said, I'm going to do 150, just a flat 150. I'm not expecting it to be 150 yet. What is it? We're going to be in June, so I don't expect it to be up here yet. I hope it doesn't start creeping up to this number till like July or August. It does get really, really hot where I live. And then Cox and cell phone, I bundled together right here because, like I said, the internet and the cell phone are through the same provider. And so this one I'm actually going to put under actual because I do know how much this is going to be total. It's $136 for both. And then my Amazon Prime is $16. So that one we know for sure. And then my Apple subscriptions, this is going to be $30. And I don't have any new subscriptions. I'm not planning on adding anything new. So that should be, with tax and everything, is right around $30. And then my car insurance is $132. And then so for this first paycheck, for my sinking funds and my savings challenges, the total, I think it's going to be, let me just see real quick. I'm going to do a 760 for sinking funds and then 85. Oh, sorry, 675 for sinking funds plus the 85. Okay, so this is going to be a 760. And so I did calculate all of these. The total for this first paycheck for all of these expenses is going to be $1,494. And for me, I am paid twice a month, and I know some of you guys may be on variable income or your paychecks may vary from week to week or every payday. For me, I'm salaried, so my checks are pretty standard. The only thing that's a little different is in the second paycheck, I do have a healthcare stipend that is included, so it's a little bit more than my first paycheck. But other than that, I know what to expect each time um, payroll is coming around. And if you didn't see my last video, payroll forgot to add my stipend into my check, which was a little bit of a pain to get deposited because I had to do a separate processing, but they did get it to me the next day, so I am grateful for that. And so for paycheck number two, and like I said, this will actually be on the 18th of the month. My wallet will be getting $270. My student loans are it. So the actual rate of the student loans is $285. I always just I don't know. I know it's like a not an even number, but it's a flat number. But I just rounded up to 290. I kind of knock away at some of the payments because I do have quite a bit of student loan debt left for my master's degree. So this gets 290. And then my subscriptions, I believe, is for this set of subscriptions. Like I said, I have Apple coming out of here, and then I have X and ChatGPT coming out of my second paycheck. And I have like the lowest tier subscriptions for these services. So this is going to be $14. And then Canva, right now I am paying monthly. I would like to, I am working on saving for annual memberships because I'd like to get my Amazon Prime, my Canva, and then my YouTube Premium all on annual pay. But I don't, it's kind of hard to save for that while I'm paying the monthly. So I am working on that slowly. But Canva is going to come out to $16. And then again, for the sinking funds and savings challenges, it's going to be the same as the amount for this first check. So I'm going to do another $760 in this category. And then my rent is 1,325, which I kind of thought was a lot, but I've seen and I've my friends have told me they're like what they pay for rent and that live around me, and some of them are paying a lot more than that. And I know some people pay a lot less than this. I guess it just depends where you live. I live, I guess the biggest city close to me is Phoenix. So I guess this is kind of around like the what people normally pay or like the average rent around here. But my the woman I rent from, she did not raise my rates when I renewed my lease in October, so I am very thankful for that. And so the total for my second paycheck is going to be $2,675. And so as you can see, paycheck two um, has a heavier amount that comes out. And so kind of what I do to make sure that I don't know, I probably don't have to do this, but I like to have the same amount roughly to cash stuff for both checks. And so what I do is I basically out of this first check where I have some left over based on, my paycheck. I'll leave extra, like I won't, I'll leave a certain amount, a couple $100 in the bank that kind of carries over to this check. That way it kind of evens it out because I'm just weird like that. And I like things, it just makes it easier for me to be able to kind of have the same amounts to do each time I get paid. So that's how I do the breakdown of my paychecks. And then next we have, this is just a weekly check-in. Um, I did get this date wrong. This is actually going to be the 18th because this is when I get paid. So basically what I do here is I fill in the categories from my wallet. And so what I budget for each paycheck, this is paycheck one. Um, so my spending gets 25 per check. Dining out gets 25 per paycheck. Home essentials gets 20. Drinks gets 40. And then buffer gets 10. And so at the end of, I do this basically every other week. So after, like when I get close to the end of the pay period, I'll go through and see how much I spent and then see how much I have remaining out of, if I only spent, if I didn't spend anything out of spending and my budget was 50 for the month and I still have the 25 remaining here, down here, I could either carry the money over and have $50 still left or roll that money into savings challenges, which is what I'm planning on doing, and then just have $25 left for the rest of the month from the second check. And so that's basically how I set up my budget. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. And then the only other thing I'm going to do is just, this is my savings. This is the binder I keep my savings challenges in. I don't have any to switch out except for this one for May. I did only do, I didn't plan very well, and I started these savings challenges like halfway through May. And so there's not really a lot in here, but I do plan to unstuff, let's see, the May savings, the $1 challenge, the $10 challenge. This is like a longer term one, and so is this. And then I'm going to be unstuffing the Hello Summer. That'll probably be my next upload, and I just kind of want to show you guys what I plan on doing with each of these categories. But for right now, I am just going to stick. This is going to be my new tracker for June, my June savings. And these are customizable. They're actually in my Etsy shop. There's a link down below if you want to check them out. But each, you can determine how much each icon is going to be. And I had originally thought about doing $10, but because I am doing just a separate $10 challenge, I don't have a tracker or anything for this. Um, this is going to go towards my emergency fund. So I think I'm just going to stick with this as a $5 challenge like I did with this one. And then this is going to go towards helping build up my buffer in my checking account. I like to just have some money in there, even though I plan for all of my bills. If there's an unexpected expense that comes up, or if there's something that happens that I need access to, like use my debit card or something like that, I like to have just a buffer. And so I'm working on building that buffer up between my sinking funds when I contribute to that each paycheck, and then also whatever I save in this $5 challenge will also go into that until I reach a certain limit, and then I'm just gonna stop stuffing it. So I'm just going to stick this in here to get this ready for the next cash stuffing. And then, like I said, the next upload, I'll go through and show you how I'm going to divide up some of these smaller saving challenges. Anyways, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching. I really appreciate you guys spending your time with me, and I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you again as always, and I will see you guys in the next video.